Thank you, Cobill. I'm your Heavenly Father, and I have a microphone. And now it's on, which is what I do. This is why I need more producers. Speaking of new producers, please, everybody, if you see JC Bryant in here, she is our newest producer as of yesterday. Welcome, JC, to the producers' ranks. You get to tell me what to do now, just like Cobill did. Cobill, you're an honorary producer for today for telling me that my mic was off. So, this is the President of the United States. I don't know what's going on his face, but he is going to tell us how to reform the police. I've heard a little bit of the speech. I'm not sure he's going to succeed here, but some of the speech has some important moments to it. So we're going to take a look. I see that we're up and live now. Thank you, Cobill. If you're in YouTube, go ahead and say hi so that I know you're there. I'm going to pull up the YouTube feed myself here so that I know what's going on. And we will get going as soon as I know that people... I know, 5 more months. 5 more months of infrastructure weeks from this president. Let's see here. Give me just a second to catch up with you guys, and we'll get going with the speech. In fact, we're going to get going with the speech right away while I do this, because this is just going to be like, hey, thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you very much, please. And thank you all for being here as we take historic action to deliver a future of safety and security for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Of every race, religion, We're joined today by law enforcement professionals and community leaders. Though we may all come from different places and different backgrounds,
America.
We're united by our desire to ensure peace and dignity and equality for all Americans. I've just concluded a meeting with incredible families, just incredible families that have been through so much. The families of...
Guys, the YouTube audio or the C-SPAN audio is often way too quiet to go through, so I've tried to adjust for that. If the audio is way off, let me know and I can make adjustments. I can bring me quieter, you can turn yourselves up.
Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean, Antoine Rose, Jamel Roberson, Adiana Jefferson, Michael Dean, Darius Tarver, Cameron Lamb, and Everett Palmer.
He just got really quiet. That's not me
people.
doing that.
Incredible people.
We might have to switch over. Let me know on the audio, folks.
Many of these families lost their loved ones in deadly interactions with police. To all of the hurting families, I want you to know that all Americans mourn by your side. Your loved ones will not have died in vain.
Hey, Karine.
We are one nation. We grieve together, and we heal together. I can never imagine your pain or the depth of your anguish, but I can promise...
Because I don't have human emotions.
...for all of our people. And I gave a commitment to all of those families today with Senator Tim Scott and Attorney General Bill Barr. We are going to pursue what we said. We will be pursuing it, and we will be pursuing it strongly, Tim, right?
Oh, strongly. Okay.
I want to recognize Attorney General Bill Barr, who's spent so much time on this and other matters like this. Bill, thank you very much for being here, along with, great job you're doing. Along with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Tim Scott, and they're going to be working on a Senate bill also.
Mitch McConnell, who held up all of the criminal readjustment legislature for years until I got in because he didn't want a Democrat to take credit for it.
That can go hand in hand with this. And also Representatives Kelly Armstrong, Louis Gohmert, Jim Jordan, Guy Reschenthaler, and Pete Stauber. And thanks also to Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, the President of the Fraternal Order of Police, Pat Yost, president of the International Association of Doing Common Sense and fighting for a cause.
What?
Like we
I
get
skipped
the
ahead
chance
there,
to fight.
but he clearly just made a mistake on the teleprompter.
Today
Let's
is
go
the
back and figure out what it
Association of
is.
Chiefs of Police, Stephen
I thought he was going to spend like half an hour thanking people, but apparently he goes right into it. Hey, Ashton. Let's hope not, huh?
Cass Stevens, and many other law enforcement leaders who are going to be joining me at the signing. Today is about pursuing common sense and fighting for a cause like we seldom get the chance to fight for. We have to find common ground.
He made a mistake. It didn't say fighting.
But I strongly oppose the radical and dangerous efforts to defend, dismantle, and dissolve our police departments.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on there. Did he just said he just said, I strongly oppose the efforts to defend our police. It's defund our police. Am I getting that wrong,
We have to
guys?
find common ground.
Yeah, common ground. Here we go.
But I strongly oppose the radical and dangerous efforts to defend, dismantle, and dissolve our police departments.
I strongly oppose the dangerous efforts to defend our police. And he didn't even correct himself on that. Good morning, JC! Yay, new producer JC, everybody. Say thank you to JC for helping bring you this. Hey, Centaur. So no more defending the police, says the president.
Especially now when we've achieved the lowest.
I gotta listen to that
I strongly
again.
oppose the radical and dangerous efforts to defend, dismantle, and dissolve our police departments.
Thank you, President Burgundy.
Especially now when we've achieved the lowest recorded crime rates in recent history. Americans know the truth. Without police, there is chaos. Without law, there is anarchy. And without safety, there is catastrophe. We need leaders at every level of government who have the moral clarity to state these obvious facts. Americans believe.
Why
We need leaders at every level.
Why are all these people standing here without masks, all within 6 feet of each other? Why?
Of government who have the moral.
No, put on a fucking mask. There's zero reason that you have to be standing there without a mask. None. You just don't fucking care about anybody else. That's why you don't wear a mask.
Moral clarity to state these obvious facts. Americans believe.
Obvious facts.
We must support the brave men and women in blue who police our streets and keep us safe. Americans also believe we must improve accountability, increase transparency, and invest more resources in police training, recruiting, and community engagement.
That's
Reducing
true.
crime and raising standards are not opposite goals. They are not mutually exclusive. They work together. They all work together.
They both
That is
work
why
together.
today I'm signing an
There's two of them.
executive order encouraging police departments nationwide to adopt.
No, Ashton, I have footage upon footage upon footage of BLM protesters wearing masks. So you're completely wrong on that. I accept your apology.
The highest professional standards to serve their communities. These standards will be as high and as strong as there is on earth. The vast majority of police officers are
It's not a competition, but we're losing.
selfless and courageous public servants. They are great men and women. When others run away from danger, police run straight into harm's way, often putting their lives at stake to protect someone who they don't know or never even met.
I don't know why it's fascinating to him that police help out people that they've never met or that they don't know. That's literally everyone in every job. Even if you don't have a job, from time to time you meet someone you don't know and you assist them. That's being human.
Great danger. Police officers.
I'm sure you do, actually. There are protesters who aren't wearing masks, and they're idiots. And I'll call them out on it. Time and time again. You should tune into our broadcast. Ashton, this is my job. I'm making money. By you messaging me right now, I get a few pennies, and they add up. So keep messaging, Ashton.
Officers run
But here, let's just, for Ashton here, I just want to show, let's do this. Let's pull this up. This is in the Chaz zone in Seattle that everyone is so flustered about. Oh my God, we're all going to die. Let's just take a look. I'll just pull up one of the videos from the other day. Here we go. Okay, here's a guy without a mask, but he's about to put it on. Mask, 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 mask. Can't see that far back. See all those people with masks? But this guy, let's see if he puts it on or not. But if he doesn't put it on, then absolutely. You're absolutely 100% right that the protesters don't wear masks. Let's see what happens. And there he goes! So,
oh shit.
Ashton, we'll just, I'll just wait for an apology, shall we? Just wait. I know there's a delay, so I don't want to rush you or anything. But Ashton, you did, okay, you know what? If we go back to that very early point in time with the protester, here he is without the mask. There. You're right, big guy. Hold on, hold on. Let's make this even better for you. There he is. Look at that guy without the mask. Oh, hold on. Oh, this guy's just passing through. Okay, this guy doesn't have a mask, so we'll say that you're 89% right, Ashton. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the main feed now and see if Ashton's apologized yet. No? Nothing? Huh. There, G. There's your money, but that's one clip, buddy. I have no idea what that means. Anyway, kids, let's go back. I'll just wait for Ashton's apology, which I'm sure will be coming since I just showed him actual evidence. You know, but why worry about facts, huh?
Straight toward this incredible harm. Take the World Trade Center. They ran straight into the Twin Towers of 9/11. Many of them never returned. Never returned.
He went down to 9/11 and bragged that he had the tallest building in New York in Lower Manhattan, which was not true.
Vast numbers of New York's finest never returned. Last year, I presented the Medal of Valor to 6 heroic police officers who ended a murderous rampage so professionally in Dayton, Ohio. Hundreds of people would have been killed, surely.
Yes, there are many, many, many wonderful police officers. Not what we're talking about here. We don't need to reform them. They're great. They're awesome. How do we find the bad apples and get them out of the barrel?
Without them. We ask our police to put on the uniform and risk their lives for us every day, the least we deserve and the least we can do, because they deserve it so much. They have to get our gratitude, and we have to give them great respect for what they do, for the job is one of the most dangerous jobs.
Yep. And the ones that murder us, also not, we don't have to give them that's kind of what we're here for.
Jobs on Earth, one of the most difficult jobs on Earth. Last year alone, 89 law enforcement officers were killed in the line of duty. In recent days, 2 members of law enforcement were killed amid riots and looting, and hundreds of police officers were injured.
Wait a minute.
In recent days, 2 members of law enforcement were killed amid riots and looting, and hundreds of police officers were injured.
Yeah.
Just recently.
Yeah, just recently. Because 4 police officers, 4 bad apples, 4 of that 0.1% of police officers managed to be at the same point in time with the same person and killed him. But I don't know if we're going to... Anyway, some police officers were hurt, which is bad. Both bad. Both can be bad.
1 officer was shot in the head and is now laying in a hospital, almost totally paralyzed. Despite our very good record on crime, law and order must be further restored nationwide, and your federal government is ready, willing, and able to help, as we did in Minneapolis after it got out of control for 4 days. We sent in representatives, commonly known as the National Guard.
Representatives, commonly known as the National Guard. He did not send in the National Guard. He can't send in the National Guard. The governor of Minnesota called in the National Guard.
And it was all put down very quickly. We're willing to help. We're willing to help in Seattle. We're willing to help anywhere you want. And we'll be there very quickly. It won't take long. There will be no more looting or arson, and the penalty will be very grave for those who get caught. Violence and destruction will not be tolerated. We cannot do that.
Tolerated.
The looters have no cause that they're fighting for, just trouble. Every day, police officers make great sacrifices to keep our communities secure and safe. In 2018, our police arrested nearly 12,000 people for murder.
That's Chaz. That's how big Chaz is. In fact, that looks even bigger than it actually is. That's what Seattle has to worry about. Let me see if I can make this a better size for y'all. At Random sent this in to me. Thank you, At Random. I don't think she created this, but she found this somewhere on the Facebooker. Yeah, so that, if you look at Seattle, and Seattle's bigger than this too. I mean, this is not the interior. Yeah, that's the northern tip of Seattle. It goes farther south than this quite a ways, down to SeaTac Airport, which would be down by where the E is in Kevin Lee Dad. But yeah, that's a large percentage of the city, according to Trump. Moving on.
25,000 people for rape and nearly 1.5 million.
It's an excellent point, Amanda. They're not just bad apples, they're murderers. And yeah, you're absolutely right.
For assault. Very dangerous criminals. In many cases, local law enforcement is underfunded, understaffed, and undersupported. 47%
under what?
of all
Undersupported
in
or
many
undersupport?
cases, local law enforcement is underfunded, understaffed, and undersupported.
Supported. This man.
47% of all murders in Chicago and 68% of all murders in Baltimore went without arrests last year. Americans want law and order. They demand law and order. They may not say it. They may not be talking about it, but that's what they want. Some of them don't even know that's what they want, but that's what they want. And they understand that when you remove the police.
I just want to talk to Ashton for a second here. So, Ashton, Biden can't remember his wife's name, so that disqualifies him from being president? Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure.
You hurt those who have the least the most. Nobody needs a strong, trustworthy police force more than those who live in distressed areas, and nobody is more opposed to the small number of bad police officers, and you have them. They're very tiny. I use the word tiny. It's a very small percentage, but you have them. But nobody wants to get rid of them more than the overwhelming number of really good and great police officers. Some of them are standing with me and with me.
Hold on, Ashton, please. I know it's difficult, but try and stay on task here. I'm asking you a question. If Biden can't remember his wife's name, is that a disqualification from being president? Yes or no? It's very simple. Person can't remember the wife's name. Should they be disqualified from being president? Yes or no?
In the audience today, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Great job. What's needed now is not more stoking of fear and division. We need to bring law enforcement and communities closer together.
Okay, so Ashton, you're saying that if a person, if a person is disqualified from being president because he can't remember his wife's name, and you have said, yes, that is your qualification. All right, well, let's just take a look here. Here is Trump tweeting, "Great to have our incredible First Lady back home in the White House. Melanie is feeling and doing really well. Thank you for all your prayers and best wishes." So I'm with you, Ashton. That president is not qualified to be president. Time to get him out of office. So you're with us, everybody. I'd like you to welcome our newest sponsor. Ashton, if you'd like to put your money behind your mouth here, go to kevinleefather.com and you can become a patron because obviously you're on our side, buddy. Thank you. Let's move on, everybody.
To drive them apart. Under the executive order I'm signing today, we will prioritize federal grants from the Department of Justice to police departments that seek independent credentialing, certifying that they meet high standards, and in fact, in certain cases, the highest standard. That's where they do the best, on the use of force and de-escalation training. For example, many believe that proper training might have prevented the tragic deaths of Antoine Rose and Botham Jean. As part of this new credentialing process, chokeholds will be banned, except if an officer's life is at risk.
Okay, so they're not banned.
I will.
Chokeholds will be banned except if the officer's life is at risk. Well, who gets to decide if the officer's life is at risk? At any given time, you can decide that your life is at risk, and then you can chokehold. So, chokeholds, not banned. Moving on.
We've dealt with all of the various departments, and everybody said, it's time. We have to do it. Additionally, we're looking at new advanced and powerful, less lethal weapons to help prevent deadly interactions. New devices are being developed all the time, and we're looking at the best of them. And cost is no object. No object. Under this executive order, departments will also need a share of information about credible abuses so that officers with significant issues do not simply move from one police department to the next. That's a problem. And the heads of our police department said, whatever you can do about that, please let us know. We're letting you know. We're doing a lot about it. In addition, my order will direct federal funding to support officers in dealing with homeless individuals and those who have mental illness and substance abuse problems. We will provide more resources for co-responders, such as social workers who can help officers manage these complex encounters. And this is what they've studied and worked on all their lives. They understand how to do it. We're going to get the best of them put in our police departments and working with our police. We will have reform without
Ashton, while Trump was talking here, I just looked it up. No, he didn't say anything about autocorrect. You're wrong. Here's what he did. He just sent the same tweet, and he put her name Melania instead of Melanie. That's all he did. And the original tweet is still up there. You can find it yourself. So, again, I'm waiting for your apology. Just, you know what? I'm not a selfish man. Bundle both the apologies together and send them my way. Thank you. Moving on.
Undermining our many great and extremely talented law enforcement officers. President Obama and Vice President Biden never even tried to fix this.
Claudia, I would welcome that. And every time I mention you, Claudia, I will mention Ashton.
This during their 8-year period. The reason they didn't try is because they had no idea how to do it. And it is a complex situation. Beyond the steps we are taking today,
I think a president should be functionally literate and be able to walk down a ramp in less than a half an hour. That's just me. Now, there are exceptions, of course. FDR, I'd have no problem, but even in the wheelchair, man, that guy would roll.
I am committed to working with Congress on additional measures. Congress has started already, and they'll be having bills coming out of the Senate and possibly out of the House. And hopefully they'll all get together and they'll come up with a solution.
Well, I was looking for that tweet. Did I miss something about Obama and Biden, David? Did he blame Obama and Biden for not doing anything? I'll go back and check on that. But sorry, I was dealing with Ashton.
It goes even beyond what we're signing today, but this is a big, big step, a step that hasn't been taken before. But in order to make real progress on public safety, we have to break old patterns of failure.
You are correct, Jimbo.
Many of the same politicians now presenting
also
themselves
human.
as the solution are the same ones who have failed for decades on schools, jobs, justice, and crime. They are all often, unfortunately.
So now he's going after the politicians. He's blaming the politicians for police murdering people. 20 seconds. You got it, David.
Hopefully they'll all get together and they'll come up with it already. and they'll be having bills coming out of
So he's talking about
to
Congress.
working with Congress. No idea how to do it. Vice President Biden,
Here it is.
without undermining our many great and extremely talented law enforcement officers. President Obama and Vice President Biden never even
First off, who the fuck is President Obama?
without undermining our many great and extremely talented law enforcement officers. President Obama and Vice
President
President
Obama.
Biden never even tried to fix this during their 8-year period. The reason they didn't try is because they had no idea how to do it.
Literally have a playbook for doing it. This is the Department of Justice website. They made a task force and they came up with suggestions. So they literally have a playbook for doing that. President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing recommendations from print to action, which they then distributed to every single police force in the country, most of whom never really adopted it. So, yeah. And what did Trump do? Remember President Obama decided to demilitarize the police. There's no reason that the army would give the police tanks. The police don't need tanks. Now, there's exceptions to that, and I'm not going to get into it right now. But so President Obama made an executive order basically saying, like, hey, let's not have the police be like the military. Let's keep it reasonable. And so that was part of police reform. So let's not have that happen. And of course, Trump came in, and in August of 2017, within a few months of being in office, presidential executive order on restoring state, tribal, and local law enforcement access to life, blah, blah, blah. And all this did, Section 1, revocation of Executive Order 13688, which was the executive order that Obama put into play to try and curb the use of military force amongst the police. But anyway, Obama and Biden had no idea what they were doing. Thank you, David with Snopes, for pointing that out. Let's go forward. Hold on. Oh, the cat's talking to me, apparently. So if you can hear Kevin Lee Kitty in the background.
Politicians now presenting themselves
she's really riled
as
up.
The solution are the same ones who have failed for decades on schools, jobs, justice, and crime.
It's about schools.
Often, unfortunately, the same politicians running the cities and states where help is most needed. It's an attitude. And
you know what I hate? I hate when mayors kneel down on the necks of people and kill them. That's what I hate. Goddamn mayors.
It's not working.
That's what we need to focus on.
Today's action is a big part of the solution to restoring, renewing, and rebuilding our communities. For the last 3.5 years, my administration has been focused on creating opportunity, fighting for equal justice.
Black Muse, that's a good point and a much better topic than we have time for today, but I'm with you on that.
And truly delivering results. Nobody has ever delivered results like we've delivered. Nobody's come
like we've
close.
what?
And truly delivering results. Nobody has ever delivered results like we've delivered. Nobody's come close.
And then he knows he got it wrong. He's conscious enough to know that he screwed that word up, but he's not even bothered with the corrections anymore. Because what do you do with that? And now, ladies and gentlemen, President Scooby-Doo.
Truly delivering results. Nobody has ever delivered results like we've delivered. Nobody's come close. And we worked with some great people. We worked with fantastic people to get it done. We enacted landmark criminal justice reform, something that nobody else could get done. They tried, and they couldn't even come close. So we
Thanks
got
to
it
Mitch.
done, and we got it
It's
done
100% that Mitch.
powerfully, and people appreciated it. But it's something that, with all the work and all the talk for so many years, criminal justice reform, nobody else could get done.
I do it for you, Nanny.
We secured permanent and record funding for HBCUs, that's historically black colleges and universities. Numbers that they never thought were possible, and long-term financing, because they would come back to the White House after my 3rd year. I said, why are you here again? great people, about 42 people,
So it took him 3 years to ask, why are you here again?
the heads of black colleges and universities,
Yeah.
great people.
Uh-huh.
They do such an incredible job. And I'd see
Yeah.
them after the third year. I say, why are you doing this? We need money again. I said,
Yeah.
don't we set it so you have like a 10-year program, a 5-year program? No, sir. For years and years, we've had to come back every single year.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back.
Set it so you
I want to
have
make
like
sure
a
I get...
10-year program of such an incredible
Going back
job.
again. Sorry,
And I'd
kids.
see them after the third year. I say, why are you doing this? We need money again. I said, don't we set it so you have like a 10-year program, a 5-year program?
Yes. Yes, it was a 10-year program that Obama passed in 2010, and it was due to expire in September. All Trump had to do was re-sign it into law. And of course, there's more money than ever because, inflation, etc. More money is given on a yearly basis. That's how laws typically work. But yes, he asked them, shouldn't you be on a 10-year program? Well, yeah, we were, and it's expired. That's why we're here, sir.
No, sir. For years and years, we've had to come back every single year. I said, well, the only bad thing about what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you long-term financing and I'm going to up the amount, but I won't get to see you anymore. So that's the bad part. But you can
And they're like,
focus on
sign it, sign it, sign it, sign.
education now instead of worrying about dealing with us in Washington. So we did that for the historically black colleges and universities. I'm very proud of it. They're incredible. They're incredible people. Got to know a lot of them.
You want to solve the crime problem? You want to solve the inner city problems? Free education, people. Everybody gets to go to junior college. Everybody, lift yourself out of poverty. Here's some education. Simple as that. And some states have done that, and it works.
The heads of those colleges, they do an unbelievable job and don't get the kind of notoriety that they should have. We expanded affordable options for better health care. We created opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott, brought it to me.
And Cory Booker, who co-sponsored and wrote the legislation.
We didn't know if we could get it past him, right? But we got it passed, and I think it's probably one of the great things that we've done in this administration. Tens of thousands of jobs, billions and billions of dollars being brought into areas and neighborhoods that
Huge profits for Jared.
would never, ever.
Hey, guys, someone sent me an article about the opportunity zones, and I can't find the name of who sent it to me, so if it's you, let me know, and thank you very much.
Ever be taken care of monetarily. Areas that didn't have 10 cents put in them for years and decades, and now people are investing, thriving, and the jobs have come back.
It's always a dime. He's always dropping the dime on communities and people in China. But no, there was investment in the communities. But yes, opportunity zones, thanks to Cory Booker and Tim Scott. Good idea.
We achieved the lowest black, Hispanic, and Asian unemployment rates in American history,
What are they now?
and we will do it again. We'll do it again. We're fighting for school choice, which really is the civil rights of all time in this country. Frankly, school choice is the civil rights statement of the year.
Charter schools are the civil rights statement of the year. All right, I'm done. But there's nothing I can do with that, folks. You guys have a great day. I'm soldiering on because of producer JC.
Of the decade and probably beyond, because
Hi,
all
Space Shifter.
children have to have access to quality education. A child's zip code in America should never determine their future, and that's what was happening.
If only we had some sort of public school system which we could address and improve. If only.
So we're very, very strong on school choice, and I hope everybody remembers that.
Oh,
it's
we will.
happening. It's already happened, but it's happening. We have tremendous opposition
It's already happened, but it's happening.
from people that know they shouldn't be opposing it. School choice.
You know, everybody in the 100,000 public schools in this country. Thanks to Kevin Lee Daughter for that fact.
All children deserve equal opportunity because We are all made equal by God.
So, I don't know, most of you probably know this, but Betsy DeVos makes millions of dollars on charter schools. Moving on.
True. Young people,
Hey, Morg.
old people,
Old people,
young people without a high school diploma.
young people without a
Every
dog.
group. Everybody was thrilled. Everybody had just about high-paying jobs. Our country was never in a better
Is minimum wage high paying? Is that what he thinks?
position, and we were planning on massive growth. It was happening. It was already there.
The growth, the GDP growth, was 2.1 in the last quarter before the coronavirus. 2.1. After he said it would go to 5 or even 6, and I don't want to say higher because the media is going to criticize me, 2.1% growth. Without the coronavirus, before the virus from China.
Including big salary increases, which were already taking place.
Salaries were on the way down, especially for lower wage workers. They went up, they spiked after Obama, and then they started going down.
For the last 2.5 years, big increases, record increases. Nobody's seen anything like it.
Hi, Buttons.
And then we got hit by the virus, along with the rest of the world, and now I'm building it up again.
What did you miss, Martin? Is that Noel? Or is that just Martin? I don't know. Anyway, Martin, what you missed, I'm just seeing N. Martin on my screen. That's why I'm asking. What you missed is that this is all about school choice. Charter schools are the civil rights issue of our time. And he hasn't mentioned George Floyd yet.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
But I'm building it up again, and it's moving fast. And it will be even better than before, because we also learned it will be better than before. Jobs are rapidly coming back. And retail sales that were just announced 2 hours ago, just a little while ago, they're up a staggering 17.7%.
Yeah, because we're reopening too quickly. I mean, you open retail stores, the retail sales go up. They're still way down. Still 7, 8, 9% down, depending on how you look at the metrics. But yeah, of course.
Amazing. The projection was anywhere from 6 to 8%. We're up 17.7%.
I didn't see any projections anyway.
And what does that mean? The stock market went through the roof. These good numbers, they drove it up to a level that we're almost at the same level. Hard to believe. We're getting very close to the level we were before the pandemic and
We're more than 3,000 points down.
before all of the things that you've seen happen.
I thought it was you, Noel. Hi.
That's a great thing, because ultimately it's about jobs. It's about the government can never do anything like a great job for a person where they look forward to getting up in the morning and going to work and getting a much bigger check than they could ever get otherwise.
I'm going to fact check this. It's true. Trump created this job for me, and I'm enjoying it. So, Trump 2020, baby.
Today and over the last 60 days, we've had one of the biggest stock market increases in the history of the stock markets.
After losing a third of its value.
And 2 weeks ago, the 50-day increase was the single biggest. Unless my formula is tampered with,
Well, you're
we will
what?
soon be in a strong... The 50-day increase was the single biggest.
Formula?
Unless my formula is tampered with,
Miller? Formular.
we will soon be in a stronger position.
Sounds like a gas additive on The Simpsons. New Chevron gas with Techron and Formular. Helping your car rev higher. The civil rights issue of our time.
Than we were before the plague came in from China.
That's China.
When the numbers reach the point that I know they will, there will again be a great unity and a great spirit in our country.
That's what I'm
People
like.
have
I'm like,
that-
here's the thing that happens in my life all the time. I see like a person of another race, and I'm like, I hate you. And then they're like, I hate you too. And then we see that the stock market has gone up, and we hug.
Job back that they might have lost. They'll be making even more money than they did before. We have some brilliant people working with me, and We put it together. We did it once, and we're very easily doing it again. We're way ahead of schedule. You'll see that.
What schedule?
You'll see the third quarter numbers will be very good.
And the fourth
You'll
quarter,
see
and
fourth
then next
quarter
year
will
when
be
Biden's in
really good,
office.
and you'll see next year will be one of the best economic
Biden's
years
in
this
office.
country has ever had.
When Biden, or Elizabeth, or Bernie, or Cory.
And it's all happening very quickly, way ahead of schedule, and I think you'll see that. People can't even believe what they're looking at.
Wow, there's a serious delay. Human just said, why can't he say China? That tweet is from 2015. So if you're seeing your tweets not getting through, that's why. Just wait.
But on top of all of that, before the end of the year, I predict we will have a very successful vaccine, therapeutic, and cure. Would make
There's no cure for viruses. Moving on.
tremendous progress. I deal with these incredible scientists, doctors, very, very closely. I have great respect for their minds, and they have come up with things, and they've come up with many other cures and therapeutics over the years. These are the people.
No, he should have respect for anybody's mind at this point, because and they've come up with things and many other things, and sometimes they have stuff.
People, the best, the smartest, the most brilliant anywhere, and they've come up with the AIDS vaccine. They've come up.
You know how you all got the AIDS vaccine. First off, it's HIV. Secondly, there is no HIV vaccine. Otherwise, you would have gotten the HIV vaccine. Your kids in school, there would be an uproar. The right wing would be nuts because, oh my God, they're giving our kids AIDS. And the anti-vaxxers on both sides would be screaming about the AIDS vaccine. There's no AIDS vaccine. It's not a thing.
Up with, or the AIDS, and as you know, there's various things, and now various companies are involved.
Various things, various
But the
stuff.
therapeutic for AIDS. AIDS was a death sentence, and now people live a life with a pill. It's
Several
an
pills.
incredible thing. The
Uh-huh.
Ebola vaccine and others. These are the people that have done it, or these are the people that have been around it, and they're all
Could be wrong here, but I think the Ebola vaccine took about 5 years to create, and it's for one strain, but Ebola is like coronaviruses. There's a bunch of them. But anyway.
competing. It's an incredible thing. All of these brilliant firms, labs, companies are competing.
Labs,
And I will tell you,
poodles,
we're very far advanced. We've already
dachshunds.
started tests and trials. So I think we're going to have a very, very good answer to that very, very soon. I always say, even without it, it goes away. But if we had the vaccine,
No.
we will. If we had therapeutic or cure,
No evidence the coronavirus is going to go away. It might, but we don't know that.
one thing sort of
Didn't go away in April.
blends into the other, it will be a fantastic day. And I think that's going to happen, and it's going to happen very soon. Americans can achieve anything
There you go. Fact check from David with Snopes. There is no AIDS vaccine.
when we work together as one national family. To go forward, we must seek cooperation, not confrontation. We must build a
Is that even like, David, is there a page on Snopes for is there an AIDS vaccine? Is that common enough of an idiocy besides Trump that it gets stated all the time? Because Trump's the only one who ever says it that I hear.
upon our heritage, not tear it down. And we must cherish the principles
By the way, he's defending statues.
of America's founding as we strive to deliver safe,
So Trump, literally the only human being in public life who claims that there's an AIDS vaccine.
beautiful, elegant justice and liberty for all. I'd like now to invite our great friends, because they are our great friends from law enforcement.
What does scientist Ivanka think, though, says Human? That's senior scientist
The officers
Ivanka.
representing their groups to come up as I sign a very important executive order. And we're asking Mitch and Tim and all of the people that are here from Congress to go back and see if they can get something done. I see Louis and
Hey, Cream Dolby, we're almost done here.
Jim Jordan. We're all here. A lot of our representatives from Congress and the Senate. If they can go back and add to what we're signing today, it'll be a big moment. It'll be a big moment. But this is a tremendous step. This is a step that could have been taken years ago, but people chose not to do that. And that was in my...
Again, there's literally a handbook on it. Give me a second. There it is. This is from July 28th of 2015. Literally a handbook from the Obama administration task force on how to reform the police. Could have been done years ago, and it was. Back to the petty dent.
In my opinion, a big mistake. Could have solved a lot of the problems that we have now. So if I could, law enforcement, if you could come forward. We've had the...
Hey, producer Debbie's here too. Hi, producer.
Please come up. We've had the
Hey, Danielle, we're almost done.
endorsement of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, the Fraternal Order of Police, International Association of Chiefs of Police, International Union of Police Associations, Major County Sheriffs of America Association, National Association of Police Organizations, National District Attorneys Association, National Sheriffs Association, Sergeants Benevolent Association, and many others. They've worked on this with me and my team. Have been
That's so weird that they would endorse someone who wants not to defend the police.
fantastic. I want to thank my team. What a team it is. And we've taken very much into mind what they are saying, because these are the people that keep us safe. And they've done an incredible job. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
What about the people who kill us? That's also what we were kind of talking about today. That was no, he's at the end of his speech, and I don't think he mentioned George Floyd. Did he mention George Floyd at all during this? Association. President Obama could have taken control. There you go. Boy, that is a short executive order. I'm going to let him keep going here. He'll probably... I did see this part. I saw him holding it up, and then he runs off, or stumbles off, lumbers off. Give me a second.
Thank you very much.
Okay, safe policing, safe communities. I'll bring it over here in a second. Let me just scan over this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, he just stumbles off here. Bye. No questions. He did take questions from the media for the first time this month yesterday, and we covered that as well. If you didn't watch, go back and you can see it. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull this up here. Okay, so this is your proclamation right here. Here's your EO. Law enforcement is so important. Law enforcement is so important. Unfortunately, there have been instances in which some officers have misused their authority, challenging the trust of American people with tragic consequences for individual victims, their communities, and our nation. All Americans are entitled to live with the confidence that the law enforcement officers and agencies in their communities will live up to our nation's founding ideals and will protect the rights of all persons, particularly in African American communities. We must redouble our efforts as a nation to swiftly address issues of misconduct. Nothing so far. The Constitution declares in its preamble that one of the primary purposes was to establish justice. Generations of Americans, blah, 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 blah. Okay, nothing. Okay, here it is. State and law enforcement agencies must constantly assess and improve their practices and policies to ensure blah, blah, blah. Nothing there. The Attorney General shall. Okay, here's something that shall happen. This is something Trump can actually direct. As appropriate and consistent with applicable law, allocate Department of Justice discretionary grant funding only to those state and local law enforcement agencies that have sought or are in the process of seeking appropriate credentials for a reputable independent credentialing body certified by the Attorney General. Okay, wasn't even mentioned in the speech, but that's a good idea. You come up with independent certified bodies, perhaps from the Department of Justice or otherwise, depending on what they say by independent. And funding only goes to, extra funding, I should say, only goes to police departments who are allowing those independent auditors to examine them or train them or whatever. So that's a good thing. Attorney General shall, again, certify independent credentialing bodies that meet standards as set by the Attorney General. Okay, so that's just the same thing. Okay, so the state and local law enforcement's use of force policy adhere to all applicable federal, state, and local standards that already exists. Here it is. The state or local law enforcement agencies' use of force policies prohibit the use of chokeholds, except in those situations where the use of deadly force is allowed by law. So if a police officer, you can use a chokehold, which is exactly the same fucking thing as it is now. Okay, there's 50 states. 50 stupid laws in this country for every particular state. I may be wrong on some of them, but it's already self-defense, chokehold, fine. In most states, at least. Okay. All right, I don't know what's going on with Creamy Dolby here, but I'm just going to get rid of them in this. Boop. Go to this. Okay, bye, Creamy Dolby. Have a good life. That's a bot. There we go. Okay, here's something important here. The Attorney General shall create a database to coordinate the sharing of information between and among federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement agencies concerning instances of excessive use of force related to law enforcement matters, accounting for applicable privacy and due process rights. Everything has to have an adjoinder. Accounting for applicable privacy. Due process rights, yeah, of course. So, if you put the officer's name, is that an invasion of their privacy? Like, why? Why have privacy there? I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking it through. Okay, a database subscribed in subsection A of the section shall include a mechanism to track as permissible terminations or decertifications of law enforcement officers, criminal convictions of law enforcement officers for on-duty conduct, and civil judgments against law enforcement officers for improper use of force. Okay, I got to get back to real life here, kids, and I'll check out the Snopes isn't perfect either. It's as close as you get. Imagine one of these officers going home and framing the Sharpie. Probably happens. Big O can't stand by without talking to somebody in White House. Who's Big O? Obama? Better get some national mandates going because we have 50 countries, not 50 states. You're absolutely right, Black Muse. I say that all the time. Same shit, old shit. Yeah. So there's a couple of things in here that if they are actually put into place, that's great. But it's an executive order, and as we saw earlier in the broadcast, the next president can come in and completely turn that upside down. However, if Biden gets in, he won't. He will enforce these and go further with them, I would hope. It's not like the guy was involved in putting together an entire playbook on how to reform the police. Any changes in seeing officers' prior complaints? I don't know. I'll have to look into it more, but there's unfortunately no time. I think we've been broadcasting now for, I can tell you, we've been live for 54 minutes, and that feels like plenty of time to me. Thanks again to President Trump for creating my job. All right, guys, if you'd like to help me with this job and support me with this job and keep track of a national database on me, then please go to kevinleefather.com and you can become a patron there. I'm going to show the credits here in just a second with all the wonderful patrons so far. JC is our newest producer at a $50 a month level, which gets you all kinds of accolades from me and also gets you in on the decision processes that I make. So you'll be hearing more on that, JC. So thank you, JC. Thanks to everybody else for being in here today. Everybody who's in the room and doesn't chat with us, you're fantastic too. I appreciate everybody being here. Spread the good word, share the broadcast, and if there's something that I did in here that you'd like me to pull out and make into a shorter video, a fact check or whatever, let me know and I will attempt to do that. Jojo, you'll have that job for another 4 years, buddy. You know what? I set myself up for wins. Kevin Wins. That's my name. Thank you, human. It's always fun being with you guys. Thanks to everybody. I want you guys to pay close attention to the closing credits. Here they are.